You know, I was thinking the other day, when you spend as much time listening to jazz as we all do, you almost accidentally find yourself living in the past. In the best possible way. You pull out a classic Blue Note record or some 70s fusion, and before you know it, weeks have gone by and you haven't listened to anything that was made even within the last decade. And don't get me wrong, those records are untouchable. But it's easy to forget that right now, literally this year, last year, there's some incredible music being made that carries the torch in interesting new directions. So I've been digging into some newer releases, and honestly, it's been refreshing. Really refreshing. So today I want to sit down with you and talk through 5 albums that I've really been enjoying. Not classics, not reissues, but new jazz and funk that deserves real attention. So let's dive in. First up is an album by Hiromi featuring Sonicwonder named Out There, and this was released in April of 2025. Hiromi is one of those rare musicians that seems to live in a completely different musical dimension. She has the classical training, the jazz precision, the fusion energy, and then this quirky, fearless creative energy that makes her instantly recognizable. Her playing is explosive but controlled, joyful but deeply sophisticated. Over the years, she's worked with everything from orchestras to fusion trios to solo projects. But Sonicwonder, her latest ensemble, might be her most playful and adventurous group yet. They're rhythmically tight, harmonically daring, and full of personality. It's one of those band lineups where you can tell they're genuinely having fun. Out There feels like a musical playground. It's full of surprises, different textures, evolving sections, unexpected twists. But it's all tied together with Hiromi's unmistakable sound. The album sits somewhere between jazz fusion, prog, electronic experimentation, and Eastern melodic influences. There's a real sense of experimentation here, as if Hiromi's saying, let's see how far we can push this without losing the joy. And that brings me to my favourite track, Yes Ramen. First off, what a title. As a ramen fan myself, I'm immediately sold. But beyond the fun name, this track is an absolute journey. We've got an excellent electric bass foundation driving the groove, Hiromi's energetic piano darting around with those playful, animated melodies, and then this sense of constant evolution. The track moves through different phases, each one adding something new. You get bursts of excitement, little rhythmic detours, sections that open up harmonically. It never stays in one place long enough for the ear to settle. The synthesizers add another dimension. Colourful, modern, slightly quirky sounds swirling through the mix. And throughout it all, there's this lovely Eastern, Japanese flavour subtly woven into the harmony and the phrasing. It's fun, exciting, and full of imagination. A perfect snapshot of Hiromi's musical world. Next up, we have Snarky Puppy and the Metropole Orkest with the album named Somni. This one was released in November of 2025. Snarky Puppy need no introduction at this point. They've become one of the most influential instrumental groups of the modern era. A collective of talented players who managed to combine jazz, funk, soul, world music, and fusion into something accessible but insanely sophisticated. They've built a huge community around complex music, which is rare these days. And then on the other side you have the Metropole Orkest, one of the world's leading ensembles for contemporary orchestral collaborations. Under the direction of Jules Buckley, they've worked with everyone from Jacob Collier to Gregory Porter to Bill Lawrence, always enhancing the music rather than overwhelming it. Somni is a beautiful meeting point between these two worlds. Snarky Puppy's rhythmic intelligence and harmonic depth blend with the orchestral warmth of Metropole in a way that feels completely natural. Nothing feels tacked on. The writing is cohesive, expressive, and very carefully thought out. The orchestra adds emotional breadth, while Snarky Puppy keep the whole thing grounded in groove and modern improvisational language. The track that stood out to me immediately was Waves Upon Waves. It's exactly what the title promises. Layers of sound gently rolling in and out, creating this almost hypnotic sense of movement. It starts with a warm electric piano panning from left to right. A small detail, but one that gives the track a floating, dreamlike quality. Then the lush, swelling strings enter, opening up the soundstage. The brass is warm and supportive, and the flute lines glide gracefully above everything else. It's not a showy track, it's emotional, atmospheric, and beautifully orchestrated. One of those tracks you can listen to late at night with the lights low and just get lost in. Next up, we have Incognito with the album named Music, Magic, Ironic, and this one was released in December of 2025. Incognito are one of the pillars of UK jazz funk, led by the legendary Jean-Paul Bluey Mornick. They've been shaping the sound of British jazz, soul and funk since the late 70s. Their influence on the acid jazz movement is massive, and what's always impressed me is how they maintain this sense of positivity and uplift in everything they do. When you put on an Incognito record, you know you're gonna hear tight grooves, rich harmonies, soulful vocals, and immaculate arrangement work. Music, Magic, Ironic continues that tradition with a refined, polished sound. The arrangements are elegant, the grooves are deep but relaxed, and the instrumentation is beautifully layered. It's an album that feels warm from the very first bar. The sort of record you can play from start to finish without a single dip in quality. My favourite track is In Time We'll Love Again. It opens with a gorgeous electric piano that immediately sets a calm, soulful tone. The flute melodies dance lightly above the harmony, giving the track an airy lift. The electric guitar adds tasteful, understated lines. Nothing flashy, just perfectly placed. Then you've got those classic Incognito drums and percussion. Tight, precise, grooving effortlessly in that way that only Incognito can. It's a beautiful blend of soul, jazz, funk, and elegant arrangement work. It's one of those tracks where every instrument feels like part of a conversation. No one trying to outshine anyone else, yet everyone playing to an extremely high level. Next we have Lettuce with their album named Cook, and this one was released in December of 2025. Lettuce are modern funk royalty. They've been shaping the contemporary funk landscape for years, blending deep grooves with jazz-level musicianship and an unmistakable sense of attitude. Their sound pulls from the Meters, Tower of Power, and so many funk traditions, but they always manage to make it feel current. They're one of those bands that can be unbelievably tight live, almost machine-like, but never lacking personality. Cook shows Lettuce doing what they do best: deep pockets, thick grooves, and a mix of high-energy tracks with more atmospheric, reflective moments. It's a well-balanced record with fantastic production. The track I connected with the most was Breathe. It's surprisingly mellow for Lettuce, very atmospheric, almost cinematic. The chilled out vibe hits straight away. The airy strings float gently above everything, creating space rather than filling it. The tight drums give you that signature Lettuce pocket, but in a softer, more restrained way. The horn melodies are warm and expressive, and the light electric piano chords shimmer through the mix, adding this delicate emotional texture. It's one of those tracks that you put on and your whole body just relaxes. Next, we have Sullivan Fortner's album named Southern Nights, and this one was released in February of 2025. Sullivan Fortner is one of the most expressive pianists of his generation. His playing has this emotional clarity, a sensitivity to touch and phrasing that almost feels vocal. He's one of those musicians who can completely captivate you without playing fast, without playing loud, just through pure musical intention. He's worked with artists like Cecil McLaurin-Salvant, and his ability to shape harmony and melody with subtle nuance sets him apart from so many pianists today. Southern Nights feels like a personal, introspective project, drawing on the atmospheres, melodies, and soundscapes of the American South. The album has warmth, nostalgia, space, and storytelling all woven into it. It's one of those records where you really sense the emotional tension behind each track. My favourite track is the ballad, Again, Never. It's absolutely beautiful. One of those pieces that encourages you to stop what you're doing and just listen. Fortner's piano playing here is incredibly emotional. Every phrase feels intentional, every note placed with care. You can hear the depth of his musical voice, subtle and expressive. The double bass is stunning, warm, rich, and fully integrated into the conversation. And the drums are so subtle, gentle cymbal touches, soft brush textures, shaping the mood without even drawing attention to themselves. It's a track that invites focused listening, quiet, deep, and profoundly moving. You know, going through these records again reminds me just how vibrant modern jazz and funk really are. These artists are taking the traditions we all love and pushing them into new spaces. With orchestras, with electronics, with modern production, with new grooves and ideas. So if you check out any of these albums, let me know what stood out to you. Or if you've got your own recent favourites, drop them down in the comment section below. If you want to continue hanging out with me here on the channel, I'll pop a video in the corner for you to click on now. Other than that, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.